Yo, what's up, levelers? Welcome back to another episode of High Level Chronicles, where we hit that intersection of video games, cannabis, and all things entertainment. I'm your host, Chris, and as always, I've got my partner in crime, the man who keeps the vibe alive, Paul. What's good, brother?
Football season's back, baby.
Yes, absolutely. I love it.
So
I don't want to bring too much. We have a guest on today, and I know that guest likes sports. I'll just leave it at that. We talked a lot about sports last time. So, football's back, man. It's awesome that, it's that time of year. You're also getting into that cooler weather. We've started to feel it here. The temperature's dropping, which I kind of have a love-hate relationship with because I love summer and the pool and everything else, but I also love fall because that means football. That means just on Halloween, which is my favorite holiday of the year.
Fall's my time, man. It's my favorite.
Since this is October 2nd right now, 1st of October, we're talking about Halloween, football's back, everything. We're rolling, as it is. But like I said, we have an epic guest lined up today. Somebody's been here before. This man's got a story that'll blow your mind. 25 years in the biotech game. I think it was 10 years in the alcohol industry. Now he's turned our favorite green friend to launch one of the hottest new THC drinks on the market, High 9. You guys are in for a treat. But before we bring him into the mix, you know how we do it. Levelers, let's kick things off with our Leveled Up segment. Paul, what have you been leveling up on this week, bro?
Well, I've been able to try some of the High 9 that was sent my way. Really enjoying that.
Which flavor did you have?
I had the blackberry.
The caffeine or the caffeine free?
With caffeine, yeah. With the caffeine.
That's one of the original flavors.
Yeah. Well, if it's OG, I'm excited to try the rest. I'm always looking for something like what would be the best pre-workout for me because I'm into lifting, to running, to doing sports, and
so you got softball games and everything. So you
got kickball tomorrow night. Yeah,
at night you do them at night too. So you got to get something in you that's not too much, but just enough to keep you leveled, right?
Yeah. So you get the energy and the focus, and so
nice.
Yeah. And playing some Elder Scrolls Online, which is a MMORG that I put down. I pick up every once in a while, but it's hitting the right buttons right now for me.
I got you. Well, I have been leveling up on Supermax still, man. I got a good bit of that in, but I also got some. What was it? I think it was. Oh, it was Rainbow Runts, and I've spoken on it some too. But I've actually been, I have a joint right now. Of course, when I do this show, I got to have my joint, but I've been into more edibles, man. So I've been eating some edibles, like it's Encore edibles, that brand Encore from the Dispos. I fucking love them. And I just picked up some new ones today from them that was sour watermelon sativa gummies.
Ooh.
One was perfect. The flavor, everything. But the other day, I actually leveled up on High 9 myself. We went to the movies. And I was actually feeling kind of, whatever. And I was like, I'm going to drink this. We were going to see Beetlejuice Tuesday night. Beetlejuice.
Oh, nice.
A little late to it. It was great. Yeah. Amazing, perfect sequel to the beginning. They didn't do anything wrong, in my opinion, to make. It was just the perfect sequel. So I'll leave it at that. I don't even have it anymore. I don't have it in front of me, but it's the watermelon one. What is it? You have it right there.
Watermelon half and half.
Watermelon half and half. Dude, it was awesome. Yeah. Good, really good. So just that perfect 10 milligrams, that's just the right amount to just not to make you feel high or, out of anything. It's just perfect just to keep you going. You know what I mean? It's whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
We saw Beetlejuice. I've been leveling, man. I've been playing Elden Ring still. I'm still finding places that I just can't believe I haven't found before. Like I'm finding new, lost grave sites that are like, what? This was right here this whole time.
Yeah.
I actually play, I think, it's getting close now, but last month we had I think it was the middle of September, we had the Call of Duty 6 beta. And I got early access because I bought the Vault Edition and everything. But, dude, that new, I think I mentioned it before.
Yeah.
I got to play it more. It had just came out. But now that I got to play it for a couple weeks, you know what I mean? I have high hopes for it. I always have high hopes for it. Some of them I don't. But this one, I think it's going to be good. And me and the wife started watching that new show. Well, I say it's new. It's not new to us, but one of our levelers mentioned that Chaos on Netflix.
Yeah.
About
I think I call it House or something.
Yeah, dude, that show's wild. That show's funny as hell. It's great. It's a great show.
Yeah, I see it recommended for me.
Check it out.
No, I haven't.
It's
the whole thing.
It's great. It's your typical gods ruling over petty humans. and them defying the gods by saying they don't believe in them. And it's a good show. It's funny.
Awesome.
Jeff Goldblum. He plays Zeus amazingly well. But yeah, other than that, man, what's our levelers saying? What have they been doing over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, we got a few here. One is at Street King Maven said, I've been deep into Starfield. Sounds like a common one that we've been seeing, a big game right now. That game is next level. It's like a space stoner stream exploring galaxies while you're vibing out. And let me tell you, I've paired it with some Purple Haze, a whole new kind of interstellar trip, bro.
I love some Purple Haze.
Yeah. Jeremy, he says, I've been on that Mortal Kombat 1 grind, smoked a fat joint of Blue Dream, and went into survival mode. I swear, I was in the zone. I almost felt like I could throw a Hadouken in real life. And bro, I've been catching up on Invincible Season 2, which is an incredible show. And that show hits different when you're baked. Trust me, if y'all haven't watched it, go check it out. Haven't seen Season 2, but Season 1 was phenomenal.
What's that about? What is Invincible?
So it's an animated show about, if I give too much away, but there's basically a superhero. He has a son that's like training to be a superhero, but there's a whole twist. And the superhero's son's name, he goes by Invincible. And so...
what's that on?
It's on Amazon, I believe.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, it was really good. It wasn't what I was expecting. A little gory for like an animated show, but yeah.
What do you mean a little gory? You not watch anime? Have you not seen some of these anime shows?
Well, not anime, but like animated. But it's
got you.
Yeah, it's no Scooby Doo. And then
not our childhood's animated cartoons.
Exactly. Yeah, and then at Retro High Roller tweets, dusted off the N64 with some Mario Kart action. Oh, it's great. Paired it with some classic OG Kush nostalgia overload. Absolutely. Still get on Mario Kart 64 sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah,
I play Mario Kart on the Switch. That's about it. I love my Rainbow Road, especially some of the new ones.
Which kind? There's so many Rainbow Roads.
The original's my favorite by far, but the new ones are pretty good too. But
yeah.
Well, shout out to all the levelers who hit us up with what they've been leveling up on. Keep hitting us up on the socials at HLC Podcast 420. Let us know what strains, games, shows, movies, what are you all vibing with this week? We want to hear from you. Speaking of vibing, I think it's about time, Paul, to introduce our guest. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right, levelers, please welcome to the podcast again, the mastermind behind one of the most exciting new THC beverages out there, Franz Tudor, founder of High 9. Franz, what is up, man? Long time no see.
Hey, guys. Man, first of all, health and speedy recovery to you. Hope everything's feeling better.
Thank you.
We appreciate, being part of your show. And, we're also now a sponsor. I'll put that cat out of the bag. I don't know if y'all mentioned that yet, but, we appreciate the opportunity to work for you. Yeah. So we're working our hardest to get into the community, show that we're here, we're real. We also want to support, I'd rather give my advertising dollars to all you guys who are doing good work as opposed to Mark Zuckerberg or, some other tech billionaire who doesn't need it and is going to just censor me anyhow. No, but I appreciate you guys. And I have been obviously leveling up on High 9. I just got,
don't say.
I don't smoke because of the little guy. And, I quite just enjoy my drinks because, I can just sip on it and take my time or chug them. And I'm here in Kansas City today. Just drove up from San Antonio.
Oh, wow.
Stopped at it. Yeah, no, we stopped in it. But I loved it because I had some online orders come in from Bentonville, Arkansas, which was on the way up here. So I actually hand delivered them to the store myself while I was driving.
Nice.
That's cool.
So, I love it. I love seeing the faces and meeting the people that are enjoying our product and supporting. I'm sort of old school when it comes to that. But leveling up with my High 9 and entertainment wise, we finally had a date night, wifey and I. So she's a big the Alien movie saga fan. So took her to see the new Alien. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. So shout out, my family normally travels with me. Son started kindergarten, so he couldn't come. And we have the world of fun here. which you went to last time, about a month and a half ago. But shout out to my family, because without them, none of this would be possible, nor would I even really have the motivation to do it.
Absolutely. Well, man, we're stoked to
That's
have
great.
you on again. I actually think both your company with launching a couple new products, as well as our own podcast here, has actually gone through a couple changes since the last time you were on. So, I mean, we can start with the change here at High Level Chronicles. The last time you were on, Brian was my co-host, but since then, Brian stepped away and then Paul has joined. Why don't we start actually with you, Franz, but just give a little intro to yourself here for Brian and Brian for shit. See, I'm talking about Brian. Give yourself a little intro for Paul, and for any of our levelers out there that might be new, didn't catch the first episode, which is episode 11, by the way, I think is what it was. But give just a little intro about yourself, since, like I said, since Paul's new here, and
Absolutely. So again, Franz Tudor. I am the founder, co-founder, CEO of High 9 LLC. We're based out of San Antonio. My background is over 25 years. It's starting to date me. I got the gray hair to prove it. Working in the biotech, the pharmaceutical, medical device segments. Somehow fell into the alcohol business. We launched a product called Cocoa Cocktail back in the end of 2014. It was actually the first spiked seltzer. We were booming. We went from 2 stores to all of a sudden 8 states in a very short period of time. Deal from a large alcohol company on the table. The whole premise of that product, by the way, was healthier drinking, having a better for you option. I mean, yes, alcohol is bad for you, but we threw in the vitamins, we threw in the coconut water, we did all of that so you wouldn't have the hangovers. Tried a preventative medicine. That's a long story. What happened there? Unfortunate chain of events. We have to use contract manufacturers. We don't own our own plant, so we had an issue. But that's why coming around with High 9, it's been a real methodical process to make sure that first. So when I was first on the show, we only had the 2 flavors. We had the blackberry and we had the pineapple. Yep. They were 10 milligrams, but they had 300 milligrams of caffeine, and we didn't have a non-caffeinated version. So some people were a little frightened by the 300. So the new ones we've lowered to 200, and we also have caffeine-free flavors now. We did also some small tweaks to the flavoring, but since then it's amazing what we've been able to accomplish. So we're launching across the state with Badger Liquors in the state of Wisconsin. We're about to launch in Western North Carolina, Asheville, and so forth with a group called Skyland Distribution. We got Tri-City in Texas. We're just adding. We're about to do FunBev in Ohio. We've got so many states that we're rolling out in. The only thing that, excuse my language, that keeps fucking us and everybody are the idiot politicians.
Of course.
And we can talk about, I don't know if you all just saw what Newsom did in California last Friday. He shut down all hemp in California. It's done. Wow. It's done. I can't sell a drop in California. Missouri, the lame duck governor, he signed a bill doing the same thing, killing it all. Luckily, the attorney general recently reversed it, so we're back okay in Missouri. New Jersey, we're waiting for Tuesday to find out if the governor is going to either sign the bill, veto it, modify it, or if he does nothing, it gets passed. That would shut down if he passes it, or if he doesn't do anything. All of hemp stuff is done in New Jersey. Georgia's got an October 1st moratorium deadline. Right now, you can't sell any hemp, THC, CBD products in Georgia until October 1st when they're supposed to come out with the regs. Then you have the states like Iowa, which we will be launching in soon. It's a 4 milligram limit. Connecticut's a 3 milligram limit. New York's a 2 milligram limit, 1 milligram limit. So that is the only thing that is just
for me.
Yeah.
It's the only thing, stopping the train from really just powering through all this. But, I'm excited. And, again, I just want to shout out to the Twitter world specifically, because you guys have been awesome. And I also want to apologize. I can't send samples to everybody. I would love to, but at the end of the day, please appreciate we're running a business, and what might be a free sample for you is not free for us. And so we try, because I believe liquid to lips is the best way. And you got, this is not just a drink, this is an experience. So you got to experience it for yourself. We're going to come out with some packages on our website where we can sell online for, smaller quantities, smaller dollar amounts. We're going to do that. But, please don't get upset if I don't send you a sample, because we send out a lot and we're trying to do our best. But we do have to draw a line somewhere. So I thank everybody for their support and, sometimes appreciate some patience and understanding.
Absolutely. So let me ask you something. The last time you were here, I didn't get to ask this, but how'd you come up with the name High Nine? And is there a meaning behind it?
Well, we are really focused on like the health aspects and the true benefits, and also a little bit of the conspiracy theory. And there's a lot of stuff on our label. Like, first of all, the triangle. So obviously things like the Illuminati and so forth. And we have the honeycomb in the triangle. And there's a connection because hexagons are made of triangles. Obviously triangle is delta in the Greek alphabet. When it comes to high nine, there are 9 types of intelligence, for example. 9 is a very magical number because it's the last single digit. It also means sort of the completion, the finale, because it's the last of the single digits. There's the same as our new, we just finalized our branding as Just Drink It. And some people might say, well, that's a cheap ripoff from Nike. But there actually, believe it or not, was a lot of thought and hours trying to come up with the right slogan for this drink. And that was the same thing for the name. So we looked at things like Elevate. And while we wanted, so part of what's happening with all these states is they're afraid of the products being mistaken by children, which is absurd. I can show you a can of a simply spiked seltzer, and you tell me that doesn't look like a juice can. Why are you not going after them?
I actually have a Sunny D out there that's spiked Sunny D, and it looks just like, the kid would just think it's Sunny D. It says Sunny D right on it.
Or there's a Monster, there's a Mountain Dew. It's like, come on, guys. We know this. This is political. This is money. But, we did want to, you'll notice on our can that the only place that we have a weed leaf is back here to mark that it has THC. We specifically don't have any weed leaves anywhere else on our can, which is something most of our competitors do. They, embrace it, market it, take advantage of it, whatever they're trying to do. For us, we understand what we are. We are not no beverage is going to replace smoking. The cannabis, and this is where I think our competitors are missing out. Cannabis is a community. There's not a soda community, a water community, a vodka community, a tequila community. Cannabis is a community. I was on a podcast yesterday where all we were talking about was freeing prisoners. You don't have that in another industry, another sector. That's why this is a community and not an industry. We got to respect people who have gone to prison to fight for the legalization of this plant, which is a miracle drug. And it's insane and archaic. And I'm sorry for the diatribe. I'll stop in a second, but it gets me heated because it's like common sense just left the building. We have drugs, pharmaceutical drugs that are made with opioids, and those can be legalized with do a clinical trial, file it with the FDA, and you're done. You're on the market. You can't do that. Until the legalization started happening with marijuana, you couldn't do that. There's lots of, Taxotere, which is a key drug in cancer treatment. It comes from the yew tree down in the rainforest. It's a plant. It's a toxic drug. It's used to treat cancer. Like, it's one of the oldest chemotherapy agents theoretically in the marketplace. So, it's amazing to me. But, we've embraced that this is a community, but there's also new people coming to the market, like the Canna Moms are smoking. They want to be able to go to their events and such with a can that doesn't call them out as they're on cannabis at the time. It's kind of, we don't need to put it in your face, because also we're not a quote, and don't take offense to this, anyone, we're not a stoner drink, because we're not going to hit you like your bongs, your dabs, or vapes, or whatever you're doing. we want to pair with it. Think scotch and cigars. So all of this thinking really went into our branding, the naming, the packaging, and so forth. So long answer for your question, but like I said, there are some topics that I'm getting very passionate as I've been, coming more and more and more into the community, and I talk to more of you guys and hear about, the challenges and the good, the bad, and the evil that's out there.
Just cracked open the caffeine-free blackberry for the first time, so I didn't want the caffeine this late.
Yeah, it's a bit much, but yeah, I think I'm gonna.
Oh wow, that has a lot more blackberry flavor than the original blackberry.
We added extracts to both the pineapple because, again, and I want to again thank all the people on Twitter that I sent samples to the last time and gave us feedback. In fact, I even sent out when we were making the new flavors. I just got some, plastic bottles, sent them out, put some numbers, picked random people on Twitter and said, here, tell me what you think. So these flavors are actually a reflection of the cannabis community on Twitter. And I thank all of you for doing that because you had a role. You made some awesome shit. And what we heard, for example, on the blackberry was the berry, and it was the same with the pineapple. The flavor was there, but it was it felt, even though we're not carbonated, it felt flat. Like I kept hearing flat pina colada with the pineapple. So I do all the formulations, started playing around, and I found if I just add a little bit of natural extract, not flavors and extracts are very different. The extracts actually come from the fruit. The flavors actually come from chemicals. So we just added a little bit just to give it that pop, that extra pop to it. So that's what you're tasting. And again, we lowered on the caffeine ones. We went from 300 down to 200 milligrams.
So since the last time you were here, you had the blackberry and pineapple. What all flavors have you launched since
we got then? We got the limeade, which I do not have a can of that on me right now, but that is, and by the way, that's going to be that's our sweetest offering. And quite frankly, this would not taste like it does if it weren't for the Twitter world, because I am not a super sweet drinker. And they kept saying, and I made like the versions I sent out, I thought I made them really sweet. Everyone came back and said, oh, it tastes great, but sweeter. So I took it to the point where I didn't want to have that stevia aspartame type taste with the sweeteners. Mm-hmm. So I kept trying to find where that level was because I don't want to go into that zone, but that's our sweetest offering. And then we just launched the watermelon flavored half and half. Now, let me be clear. I'm from the South. I thought everybody knew what half and half was because we can't use the name Arnold Palmer because of the trademark. So I can't tell you, and it's amusing. We all have our moments. So it's watermelon half and half. What's the other half?
I thought maybe somebody thought it was half and half like the cream. Like
no, they thought it was like watermelon was one of the halves. What's the other half? So I had to explain that it was half tea, half lemonade, but it was a watermelon flavored one. And I'll tell you this right now, based on the response we've been receiving for this flavor, this will be one that we expand upon. So we're going to probably have a peach and a mango flavored half and half coming soon as well. But then we have again, we've got to have the non-caffeinated. So we made the non-caffeinated version of the blackberry and the pineapple. And that came from a lot of feedback as well. People saying, hey, I use my THC for a sleep aid. So as you said, it's kind of late. I don't want the caffeine. You had an option to reach for. If we just had the caffeinated, you might be going, maybe I'll just take a sip. I'll put it back in the fridge and make it look like I'm drinking right now. But because you have that option, and actually that option is going to help you sleep, that's what we did. So there was a lot, like I said, the Twitter family, the Twitter community in cannabis was very influential. And I want everyone to know that they did have an impact on everything from, even look, our packaging's different. And we're going to add some stuff to the next version we come out with. But the packaging, the flavors, the various options we have, it's it was all Twitter driven. I'm going to be point blank honest about it. It was like a big focus group for me. And again, thank you. That's why I'm happy to send out samples.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this then. The next question, Paul, I know you want to ask something, but I just want to ask real quick. What is your favorite flavor? What is your go-to flavor now?
My go-to is the tea.
Of course, I can see why. Mean, it's delicious.
But I grew up in the South and sweet tea, and I wish I could do it.
That's why you're going to expand on it. You're from the South. It's a good flavor. Now you can work with it and try new things.
But everyone's loving it. Now, what I like to do, though, if I need a little caffeine boost, I will take half of this and half of this and mix them together.
Oh, shit. That sounds
yep.
Pretty good.
So, in fact, we've had people who might only want a little bit of caffeine. They'll take the blackberry calf and non-calf and mix those together.
See, my brain's going right now. I'm sitting here like, you know what? That blackberry and that limeade. Ooh, blackberry limeade. Ooh, God.
Gotta make a picture after this,
Right?
Well,
is that what you're drinking on? Are you drinking the watermelon? Is that what you opened?
This delightful. Absolutely.
Your first time trying it, so honest review,
this is my raw reaction is the sweetness I think is perfect. I don't like things that are super sweet. I wouldn't say this is, but it doesn't feel diluted. It doesn't feel like it's flat. This is fantastic. I could sip on this all day.
And which one did you have the other day?
And I had the blackberry caffeinated.
Caffeinated.
Yeah. So this one.
So was you going to do something?
How did you feel on the blackberry caffeinated? What? Because a lot of folks are, tastes great, but this is a tangible benefit product. How did it make you feel?
So with the cannabis part, it made me feel a little more focused. I was gaming at the time, and I just felt a little more locked in. Not faded, not fucked up, not any sort of that. But I also got this sort of boost, and I was going to work out. I had some other things come up. I'll probably do that later because this is probably 3 to 4 hours that I had the blackberry. I'm still feeling like not like jittery, not anxious, but like I could go on a couple mile run right now because I
will tell you. First of all, I'm glad you had a positive and enjoyed the experience and the flavor because obviously that matters to us because we tell people they should feel something. Everybody's going to feel a little different depending on their sensitivities and the vitamins and so forth. But I was actually speaking with my partner earlier today when I was driving, and he said, it's amazing that all the people that I've given it to, it seems to last. Now, again, it's going to vary person to person and how fast you drink one. But we've heard people say, and I even know for myself, it lasts 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes, because the thing is the vitamins, people underestimate how vitamins can make you feel. Like real vitamins give you real energy. So when the caffeine comes up and then it starts coming down, if you don't have the parachute like what we have with all the vitamins, all the B's, the C and E, et cetera, you're just going to crash right down. Whereas the vitamins are going to just kind of keep you coming down, and land you softly. But yeah, that focus should stick around. And we tested before we took it from 300 to 200 milligrams. We wanted, and the caffeine, we wanted to make sure that there wasn't a different and noticeable difference in the effects. And we did that as well. So I'm glad you had that experience. I appreciate that feedback.
Yeah. No, I hooked up with Chris last night, and he gave me some of the samples, and so far I've just been really enjoying them, and something I think I'll be looking forward to in the future as well.
I should have kept them all for myself, but
I'm gonna hit you.
No.
You're officially on the team now, so I got to keep you all stocked.
Yes.
And by the way, I don't drink alcohol, but we now have people mixing these with all different types of booze at times. I've also had somebody add.
I'm not a big alcohol person anymore.
I can't. I had someone add Mountain Dew, mix some Mountain Dew with the tea, and said it was insane, which makes sense because Mountain Dew is technically a citrus flavor.
Yep.
So citrus is going to match up with.
You know what would be good with that? Have you ever heard of Olipop? That new healthy soda that doesn't have any sugar.
Yeah,
it's really good. It's really, my wife drinks it, but they're coming out with a new flavor it's the new Mountain Dew for Olipop, and it's called like Raging Rush or something. I don't know, something weird.
Yeah,
but something
actually,
like that.
I ran into one of their district sales managers yesterday, actually, FedEx, when I was shipping out the last bit of samples before I hit the road, and And I was telling him, I said, y'all got to cut the sweetener out because it's horrific. That I just, like I said, when that sweetener hits that level, it's ooh.
See, my wife doesn't think it's that sweet at all, and she hates sweet stuff. She hates soda. Like, she thinks it's too sweet.
It's that aftertaste that and then it just sits in your mouth. I can't. I don't like that. Not me.
Sounds like some bad edibles. You know how that just sits in your mouth for a while. You probably know, Paul. That you get that bitterness that just lingers, and it's like, you just get that aftertaste, I guess.
What I do like doing is getting a Twizzler. That's my guilty pleasure is Twizzlers. Chop a Twizzler, use it as a straw with the blackberry.
Yeah, I used to do that with the Twizzler because they're hollow inside. So yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I do that, and then it gives me a really good flavor for so I kind of make my own edible.
So let me ask, you said earlier, what makes High 9 different? What makes it stand out above all the other THC drinks out there on the market?
Well, the first thing,
more of like an experience, right? It's not just.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, and I haven't obviously tried everyone out there, so I'm not going to do a blanket statement. And I will, by the way, when I have a chance to kick my competition in the nuts, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. So the one store that I just dropped product off in Benton, Arkansas, they had the Drink Delta in there, and I tried their Maui Wowie 20 milligrams, and Maui fucking awful. It was like bong water with sweetener and overcarbonate. I wanted my money back because I couldn't even take a sip. And they had some in the cooler there, but the manager of the store said they bought a little bit a year ago, and that's the same product that's been sitting there because it tastes so bad nobody will buy it. Coming from alcohol, where our products always won awards at consumer tasting contests. Drinks have to, drinks are food. They got to taste good. First and foremost. I mean, unless you're curing cancer in a can or growing hair or erectile dysfunction or whatever you're treating, unless you have that and people are willing to look past the taste, it's not going to happen. So our focus is, first of all, the taste. That's level one. And so we use the real juice. We use the real extracts. I will tell you right now, for one can of blackberry, 29 cents is the cost of the blackberry juice. Just the juice, not the extract. Just the juice is 29 cents of my cost of making this can. That's a lot of money for an ingredient. Most of our competitors are using natural flavors that might cost 1 or 2 cents per can max, and I'd be surprised if it's even over that. Taste was first and foremost. Then it was the THC, because people are buying this first and foremost for the THC. Do I feel the impact? I tried the water solubles. I tried everybody's different nanotechnology, which really kind of scared me away at times because they wouldn't tell me what was behind their technology. I know this from the biotech. We've been using nanotechnology for 30, 40 years now. And I know that some nanotechnologies can actually be bad for your body. Carbohydrate shells can cause an anaphylactic response. Some of these things can get stored in your fatty tissue because the body doesn't know how to break it down. We did not want to go that route. And also, most of them had a weed taste and a weed smell. And we talk about the canamoms and the new people coming into this market who might be tempted to try these first because they don't necessarily want to smoke. Those are the non-smokers. Let's call them the cannabis tourists. And so from that standpoint, we had to find a good source of the THC. And that's when we discovered we could take the honey, we could basically use that as the encapsulator or the emulsifier with the THC that we were using. We did not have any weed smell. In fact, we're going to do a limited run of just our honey for people to buy because I've been giving out some samples and people are going nuts for it. Big A over
I'm all about the honey.
Florida Dad and Shaggy honey. Show. So we're going to probably do some limited runs of just our honey, but that really sets us apart. And I'm going to tell you, I'm still digging on the science, but there's something about how the cannabinoids and the honey work together. But then understanding the other things, cottonmouth, dehydration, we threw the coconut water in. Again, making sure it doesn't taste like coconut water because not a lot of people like the taste of coconut water, but we wanted it in there for the natural electrolytes. Sis trying to reconnect. Did y'all lose me?
You're good.
Okay. And then the last thing was, not the last thing, was the organic vitamins. Because when we talk about the experience, we want you to feel awesome. The just drink it comes into comes into play. Like you've been out to dinner with your significant other, a new restaurant you've never been to, a new type of food you've never had, right? You take a bite of whatever you got and it blows your mind. And you go to your significant other and say, here, taste this. And they'll go, hey, well, what is it? No. Just trust that I'm giving you something that is going to be amazing. Like, just don't even question me. It's going to just blow your mind. Just taste it. That's the same concept with just drink it. We're going to blow your mind because you're not going to just feel stoned. You're going to feel awesome. You're going to feel amazing. Aches and pains are going to feel lighter or better. We're not going to cure anything, but we're going to help reduce inflammation with the honey, the THC, all of the different vitamins. The vitamin D is in there. We're all vitamin D deficient. Let's help our immune system, natural energy. This is what our competition, they're focused on these drinks as an alternative to alcohol. But that's really not a proper comparison. You're not going to go to a tailgate and see a bunch of fraternity guys or sorority girls shotgunning these drinks. They shouldn't, right? They might do that with their White Claws.
I mean, I don't know. You might see that.
But
college kids, yeah.
All right, that's what I'm saying. You just never know at tailgates what you're going to see.
What I'd rather see at a tailgate is someone starts out their tailgating their entire day, drink one of these now, maybe drink another in a couple hours, so you're getting the vitamins, you're replenishing, and you're just feeling awesome. The last thing we did is we went non-carbonated because so many people, we've heard this on the alcohol side as well, I feel bloated. I can't drink these things. And I've had people actually say to me, thank you for not carbonating because I can actually drink them now, not get heartburn or GI distress. But also we have another factor that, as I mentioned, the cannabis tourists that are new to the market, they don't know, like this whole concept of milligrams. So the joint that you rolled, how many milligrams of THC is in it? You don't know.
Milligrams?
Yeah.
They can give you a percentage. They can't give you milligrams.
Exactly.
We all know the numbers are skewed on all this shit. I mean,
and
they send these samples off. I mean, I know for a fact they send samples off to, the companies that have to get testing for state regulations, right? I mean, that's what you have to do. You have to get the COAs on everything. But especially with cannabis, the problem is the companies, because I know a lot of people that work in these companies, we need to bring some of them on, actually. They send off a bunch of them, and they take the highest number out of all the ones they test. So you don't know that any of them are really what they are. And I can tell you now for a fact, Dispos, that none of those numbers are right, from the terpenes to the THC content to anything ever. So it's never right.
And see, we have to do better. If, as manufacturers of products, you guys have seen them, especially with like psilocybin. There was somebody that had some psilocybin gummies that sent like 30, 40 people to the hospital. I think killed some.
Wasn't psilocybin. They were using that synthetic DMT stuff in that. There's been a lot of, that's why I tell everybody, do not ever trust these mushroom company. I know, your company's not mushroom, but it's like you're saying, they put synthetic shit in there and market it as psilocybin, and it's not. And that'll get people in trouble. Or for people, and we've had episodes about psilocybin, full-on episodes about it here, and I love talking about it because it's informational, but that will turn people away from actual psilocybin, which can really help a lot of people. So it's the same thing with cannabis. Those other Delta gummies and stuff that have the THC synthetics in them, dude, those are nothing like Delta 9 THC, true THC derived, edibles. They're nothing like it. You get them at gas stations, it's not good for you. I'll tell you that.
And see, and so as an industry, so let's get away from the consumer community side. Let's talk about the manufacturer side, the industry side, the ugly side of this business, right? There are a lot of folks, as you guys know, that are chasing a quick dollar, a quick buck. I expect, by the way, by this time next year, we're probably going to have 50% fewer drink companies because they made crap and ran out of resources and exited, and they'll probably jump to the next, Kratom is another, kind of there. Look, all these things can be beneficial, as long as we're making them correctly. We're monitoring our quality control. We do send multiple samples out for testing on each flavor, but we do it because we want to make sure that we have consistency across the batch. And that's, by the way, with honey, let's not forget THC, when you extract it, it's an oil. Oil and water don't mix. That's why they're throwing all these nanos and all these words around and trying these different things to get a proper dispersion or an even dispersion in a batch tank. The honey's water soluble. Honey is awesome, and we do get the equal dispersion across the entire batch. But as an industry, I don't care if you're making gummies or whatever it might be. Let's focus on quality. We take the responsibility extremely seriously. That when you take a sip of our product and you ingest this, you're trusting us. You're trusting that I'm not going to hurt you. And that's why I'm my own guinea pig. I tested this thing for 2 months before I got it out to anybody, because I had to make sure. I did research to understand how caffeine and THC act on the different receptors in your brain. Is there anything that could be a problem? At what point could someone have a heart attack from too much caffeine or too much vitamin D or too much, you could have if you eat too many bananas, believe it or not, and ingest too much potassium, you could have a heart attack. It's a pretty excessive amount, but these are things that I got to consider, because someone might not know, and they might just say, oh, let's do something like ingest this much. And I'm going to say, no, don't, stop. Let's,
right.
Too much of a good thing can be bad, but we have to be better as an industry. And unfortunately, it's going to have to take some people going out of business. It's going to have to take, I hope nobody gets hurt. And that's what forces a company out of business. But we need some of these bad operators to exit. I am not against state regulations as long as they make sense, are based on science, and they're going to start regulating some people, because it has to happen. I drive across this country and I see some real nasty shit out there that's going to ruin it for everybody. And so that's want to do things right. And I'm at every production run. I check every ingredient that goes into our product before it goes into that batch tank. I drink everything. Well, not the whole batch tank, but I take samples. I'd be sleeping on our manufacturer, but I take samples and, make sure that nothing tastes funny, nothing feels funny, nothing smells funny. All our ingredients the COAs match up. I mean, we take quality control extremely seriously, because it has to be. That's the next phase for this industry to be successful, because then the regulators, they can't say, oh, look at these unregulated products that just hurt all these people. If we stop hurting people, they've got nothing to bitch and complain about and get into our business and hurt people. They're the ones going to end up hurting people.
There's a bunch of bad businesses out there putting out stuff that's going to hurt people, and they'll eventually go down. I mean, it's just a matter of time. But
yeah, with proper regulation. What was it's 2024, and the first time that I had seen or heard of drinkable cannabis was this year in Virginia, where there was a 2 milligram THC carbonated water. Refreshing. I tried it, didn't really feel anything from it. But what was your sort of inspiration for coming up, entering this market? Was it like your history in the alcohol field, or you saw a need in the market, or what was your thoughts in coming up with this?
Well, we learned a lot being in alcohol. And as I said, I'm not going to sugarcoat. Alcohol is not good for you. Point blank. It ruins minds, lives, families, bodies. Unfortunately, we're using some of my distributors might see this, and they're going to, I'll get some phone calls. We put out a press release actually 2 days ago that we brought the former buyer of all alcoholic beverages from Target and the former buyer from Walgreens. Both of these gentlemen built Walgreens and Target into multi-billion-dollar annual alcohol sellers. They came to our team now. We saw the trend. People are drinking less. I can't tell you the last sip of alcohol that I've personally had. I don't feel the need for it. It's not my thing. Let's call it. It's not my bag, baby. So we saw that happening, and like I said, we went through this process and said, we'll get into it if we can do this, and this with the product. So there was a lot of testing because we were not first in this case. There are a lot of brands out there, but it was really, once I tried it and my knees started working again, and my wife, who she's never done drugs in her life of any kind, much less smoke weed, doesn't even smoke. She gets bad migraines and other things. She even came to me the other morning and said, this is a miracle product. I don't have to take a sleeping pill. I don't have to lay in a dark room with cold presses on my head for my migraines. And I'm not, again, making any health claims. This is something that it helps her. We have another podcaster that, and I'll save it for him, but his significant other was complaining about menstrual problems, and he gave her a can of this, and all of a sudden she was back up and doing whatever she was doing. That is, when I start, I have my personal story, and then I have the anecdotal stories, and that's what said, okay, now we have to go and launch this because it's needed. We believe in health. You hear a lot of people, especially on the Instagrams and all, generational wealth, and they'll pitch you programs. Have you ever noticed that I don't see, or, again, I can't see everything that's on the internet, generational health. We need to get back to that. When you see in a grocery store, parents who are not healthy, and you can look at their kids, and their kids are a direct reflection of what their lifestyle has become. Right. They are hurting their children's future, and they're not necessarily as cognitive of that fact. So a lot of this is for us. This is the health aspect. That's why I'm saying, and don't take offense to it. We're not trying to push away from anybody. In fact, we want you to pair this with your smoke. This is not a, quote, stoner drink. This is a feel awesome. Just drink it and feel amazing. That's what we are going for. That's by the way, being non-carbonated, going back to what I said, you can drink this at your own pace. If you're new to the cannabis industry, you don't know what 10 milligrams does. You know how many beers at 5% or shots of tequila you can drink before it messes you up. You don't necessarily know with these yet. So you can find, as we say, you can find your zone. Drink half of it, put it in the fridge, drink the other half, drink a quarter. The best part about this, the last sip will taste just as good or just the same as the first sip that you took.
Now, I got to ask, because I know last time that was one of my complaints from the pineapple. When I left it, so the blackberry, I did it on purpose. I drank half of the blackberry, left it in the fridge 24 hours, or not 24 hours, so basically 12 hours, whatever it was, overnight. The next day picked it up, blackberry, tasted exactly the same. Now, the pineapple, it was like bitter to a sense.
Yep.
Like not like bitter, like that you would think of bitter. Like it just had a slight bitterness to it afterwards. And I know you explained it last time, as to why, but I'm going to test it again. Don't get me wrong.
We had to cook it. We had to cook it a little longer because pineapple juice is a little more volatile compared to other juices in terms of shelf stability. So we cooked it a little more, and again, then we had to throw it in for more testing to make sure the additional heat did not mess up the vitamins, the THC, and all that. So I feel that's been addressed. And the other thing is, again, give it a little shake because, again, being real juice. Just as if you left your orange juice on the table and you start seeing the separation, the settling of the drink, that's going to happen with this. So, give them a little shake.
Yeah, every time I pick up a can, I just give it a little swirl. Just to let it...
I actually, at home in the refrigerator, I store mine upside down.
That's
because
smart.
Then when
so
I
then
drink
when you
it,
turn it over, at least if you forget to shake it for whatever means, it's still settling down and you're not getting either a faint taste of nothing or a blast of flavor in there. I actually just cracked open the pineapple, and I got to say, the pineapple flavor is tenfold compared to the original.
Yeah,
completely
and I
different.
think and again, and I always tell people, gloves off feedback. Give me the honest feedback because otherwise, I'm not going to get better. And so, again, I thank everyone
this
for
is
telling
the
me.
caffeine free. I'm just assuming the regular one's going to be just as good, but the caffeine free pineapple compared to the original pineapple I had, this one is 10 times better. 10 times better than
manufacturing secret. They should taste exactly the same pretty much because we make a big vat of the non-caffeinated. We fill all the non-caffeinated cans, and then what's left we put, because we measure everything, so we have the quantity, and then we put the caffeine in.
Which is just an additive, right?
And then
it's not going to change. It shouldn't change the flavor profile of it. So,
well, caffeine is very bitter, but everything has been formulated to cover that. So we wanted to make sure that the pineapple, the calf versus the non-calf tasted identical. So,
did you have any bitterness on that blackberry?
No. I would say compared to the watermelon half and half that I'm drinking now, this is a little sweeter than the blackberry. And I'm not sure if that was a change in the production or just the half and half, and watermelon has that sweetness component. But I don't know. It's I haven't experienced any bitterness yet, but I do have a pineapple here. I have both caffeine free and caffeinated, so I can.
As we say, you should have one of every flavor out right now.
Yeah.
And by the way, every time we do a batch, there's going to be some small tweaks we look to make because, just like an athlete trying to perfect their practice.
Nothing's ever perfect. You're never perfect.
And we got on our not this next batch of cans, but we have another round of cans. It's going to say shake well here on the side, and also we've added now a hexagon sort of background and texture to the can. So we're playing with the hexagons as well. So we'll have some colors, but again, we're always looking to do better. And we are going to make a special product for the Iowa market that will be 4 milligrams per can because that's their state limit, and we've got distribution. And it's an arbitrary number they came up with. It was funny. I was talking to their regulatory people and asked them. I said, "You couldn't do 5? Like really 4? What's that all about? And how did you even arrive at that number?" Oh, we basically just picked it. I'm like, oh, that's great.
That's what a lot of places do. I mean, that's how Maryland picked their plant. Like, well, we just picked it, based off of other. They said they based it off of surrounding states' laws, but it's impossible because most of those states are double, triple, quadruple what we have as far as allotment. But
well, what's happening is that the anti-drug people and the alcohol people have done a very, very smart thing on their side. They've taken a page out of the art of war. My enemy's enemy is my friend. And so what they've done is they've now gone into these states, especially you look at the trend. California is legal. They just made hemp illegal. Other states that have legal, New Jersey is going to they're trying to make hemp illegal. Jersey is a legal state. So who benefits? Always follow the money, right? So who benefits from hemp being made illegal in those states? The marijuana guys. So you've now got the dispensary-based businesses. They're actually fighting the hemp folks. So the alcohol and the anti-drug folks have actually done a very good job pitting two entities or two sides that should actually be working together against each other and helping get these bad regulations passed. So it's been a genius maneuver. I mean, don't be blind to it because that's exactly what is happening. And I can tell you, I spoke to a chain that sells hemp products, and I said, have you thought about merging with a weed dispensary based business because they have limitations. They got to get licenses. They can't ship across state. So their business opportunity is somewhat limited, whereas the hemp guys can go everywhere. So why not be in both sides of the business? And the response looked at me like I had 4 heads or I didn't know anything. He was like, don't you know we don't get along? And I'm like, maybe that's part of the problem. Like, they say if it's not broken, don't fix it. Well, this shit's broken. Somebody's got to step up and apply some common sense and fix this shit because it's going to be bad for everybody. Everybody.
Right. So let me ask you, man, the last time we spoke, you were talking about hopefully collabing with some people in the music industry. Is that still on the table or what's been going on with that?
We are still working on that. We wanted to so we've been very methodical in how we're doing the company. So like I said, make sure we get the right product. We got all the feedback. We got the right product. We got the right packaging. Now I had to get the right people in place. I brought on a great group with that run my distribution. They're working with all our, going into all the states and finding distributors. I just brought the 2 gentlemen on from the retail side. My next step is now I got to focus on the marketing. My first phase of that, before I go and bring on some of our entertainers and athletes and stuff that we're working on, the podcasts. I believe you guys are powerful. And especially if I can put together a collective and make it almost one big voice, it's even that much more powerful. So we're doing things in steps. Like there's a lot coming. We got a lot coming down the pipeline, and we'll be able to announce some stuff here hopefully before the end of this year. But a lot of this is also, again, waiting for some of these states to clarify their regulations. We have distribution ready in Georgia. We have distribution ready in South Carolina, all these different states. So once their rules are done, and I know for a fact we're going to have product on shelves, then I can really kind of unleash our marketing machine with other folks getting on board. But you guys were the foundation because you're the community. Going back to hip hop, I need street credibility. I need you guys to say, yeah, I know it's
street cred, bro.
Yeah, I need the street credibility. I need you guys saying, look, I know it's only 2 milligrams. And also it's the credibility and the education. It's not, you guys going out and pairing it with your smoke, or, hey, I couldn't smoke and I wanted some THC, so I drank one of these. Like, you guys are going to play a pivotal role collectively educating generally the whole community how to use our product, how our product can be helpful, how they will enjoy it, and how they will react to it. I'm just the guy behind the company. And also one thing another thing I respect about the community, y'all are skeptical of big companies or any companies. Anyone trying to make money off you guys, you're skeptical, and you should be. So that's why I got to come to you, and I love working with y'all because this is fun. And I got to get the street credibility, and I got to get the education. And so that's why y'all are a very important piece to what we're building here. And like I said, we're going to grow with you. We make it. You guys are going to make it because you helped us get there.
So with that being said, what about, previously you've talked with, influencers, that you have and you've started collabing with and doing things with. And I know there are some, I think you might have a couple gamers. What about esports? Have you thought about focusing on that market? I mean, there's this whole subculture of gamers and cannabis enthusiasts. I mean, hence this podcast, but who just want it. But the thing is there's a subculture that want to enhance their experience without the side effects of alcohol at these events. So what I'm thinking, let me know your thoughts, Paul. This will be a surprise to you because I haven't even mentioned this to you, but I'm just saying this is something that, I started thinking about today. What about collabing, maybe putting together some type of, like maybe Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever game, pick it, tournament, which would be put on and sponsored by, and that would be there. You get what I'm saying? You see what I'm doing with this?
So that
would open up a whole, like get people actually to learn, like this is for, their focus. They don't have to have that high side effect or that alcohol side effect that they want, they get into that mode and.
So you must, I don't know if you work for the government or the phone company because you must have our lines tapped because the idea.
Well, I did used to work for the government for a long time.
So, well, first of all, by the way, one of our co-founders, good friends, actually runs Madden for EA. He runs the whole franchise. We're not doing anything with them. That's just hey, we like him. He's a good friend. I had the idea, and this is actually I was reaching out to you to discuss this, but you were healing up, so right time, right place. But kind of the idea of pop-up stores. We're thinking about, we got to figure out how to implement it. That's why I got to talk to some gamers because I don't play video games. I don't have time, and
I don't either.
I'd rather take a nap, quite frankly. I'm getting that old. But we were thinking about the concept of doing pop-up tournaments. No entry fee. Announce something like on our Twitter, for example. Hey, announce it at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Hey, tonight starting at 8, we're going to have a Fortnite contest. We're only going to allow 15 entrants. You got to email this address. We're going to pick the first 15. You're going to get whatever code or however you get in. And, first prize is $500. Second place is whatever, $250. Third is $100. I want to do something like that, but I need to figure out how to logistically and technologically make that happen. But we're right on the same page. Instead of necessarily doing like a big event, I'd rather do like a bunch of like weekly different pop-ups. So people are, look, it's a marketing thing, because if you know we're doing,
a big event, something down the road, maybe like you're talking money there, though. You're talking a lot of money.
Yeah. Well,
to be able to do something like that. But I was thinking more like you're saying, like online tournament, but where maybe if you have a certain amount, maybe there's a way like either us or you, whoever, we could send them, some high nine to have while they're to give their feedback, what they thought on that while they were gaming, and just get some real input.
There's just
but then there's that perk of you're having a tournament, and there could be prizes. So
well, and we probably just start out with the prizes, not necessarily sending out, because one of the things I do also have to be cognizant, and this is where the technology and how to implement, we got to make sure people are 21 and up. And obviously there is a large part of the gaming community that is not. So there's a lot of but I love the idea, obviously, because we're on the exact same page, and that's why I think
there's a lot of ways around that nowadays with ID verification, sending in their ID and matching it up. There's ways around it, but like you said, it's logistics. It's just figuring everything out.
It's just logistics, but and in fact, now that we have we're working with Sith Kitten. She's in the gaming world. In fact, she's going to the Twitch conference. I think it's called the Twitch conference or something next a week from today. She's going to take a bunch of our product to share with those folks to try to find some other gamers. But I love the idea. But see, we could even go and do it with you guys, where you go out to your following and say, hey, we've got a High Nine sponsored tournament tonight. You guys run it. You figure out how you want to do it. I just put the prize money up. We could, I'm open to do stuff like that.
Or if you have tournament pop-ups, and hell, we could run a live stream podcast of and have that on one window of the tournament going on. I mean, we could do all kinds of stuff with it.
Yeah, show on the road,
There'd be all kinds of ways to do it. You know what I mean? To bring that video into it. I mean, there's so much you can do nowadays with technology. This is the thing about me.
I know a lot of shit, but I don't know everything. And I need, and I'm ready to admit when I don't know. In fact, one of the things I got to teach my son, because I'll ask him, like, do you know what that means? And he'll say, nope. And I'll be like, well, why did you just say, or he'll say yes. And I say, okay, well, what does it mean? And he looks at me and he's like, I don't know. I said, well, why'd you say yes? I said, one of the things I'm trying to teach him early in life is it's okay to not know. We should be learning something every day. And if you're speaking to someone who knows, you're better off to shut up. The only thing that should come out of your mouth is a question. And then listen. Silence is underrated. And that's what I'm teaching them. So I come to folks like yourself who know this, and we're on the same page with the idea. So if you come to me and say, this is the best way to do it, guess whose idea I'm going to go with? I'm going to roll with you. You know it better than I do. I'm just going to stumble, trip, and make something that's bad that no one will come back to. So I'm not going to do that.
Levelers, next time you're getting into a gaming sesh, maybe you swap out that energy drink or that beer for a High Nine. Who knows? Maybe you'll get that one up you've been grinding for that you couldn't get. Maybe it'll just give you that extra focus. I actually do have it when I drink that strawberry watermelon. Before I drank it before we were going out, but I drank it and played some Elden Ring and actually beat that one boss that I haven't been able to beat. Now that I think about it, it's probably because that drink helped me focus a little bit more. So
I'm having my, I already finished off the blackberry caffeinated.
I finished off the blackberry caffeine. I'm on my pineapple caffeine free now.
Well, let me throw this out for any of the folks that are following your show that have their own gaming podcasts or they're twitching. I don't want to say tweak, whatever it is that y'all do. Hit us up, because I want you're going to love our product. It's going to help your gaming. It's going to help you in general. So hit me up, because I want to talk. Let's get into business. And I will not fuck around and find out. Let's just get it done. I want to find out. Let's skip the fucking and let's just find out.
Love it.
Man, that sounds fire. I can't wait to see what's next for you guys. Speaking of, you mentioned a little bit, what's next for High Nine? Is there any exciting things coming up we should know about that you could share, or is it under wraps, or what's up with it? I mean, I know I got a sneak peek into one thing. I'm not going to give that. I mean, into some new stuff, but I'm not going to mention it. I mean, just it's not even that, but just anything coming up, anything you want to
by spring of next year, which isn't really that far away, especially when you got to plan in advance. Unfortunately, spring of 2025 is almost upon us. So start working out to get into your bathing suit shape and form. But We will have
Thanksgiving ain't even here. That's next month.
we are going to have a line that's going to be focusing even further on health and wellness. But
nice.
We'll have some additional flavors, like I said, with the iced tea. But for us, innovation is not a new flavor. New benefits, new ingredients that actually will provide you a tangible value add. To us, that's innovation. So I've got, when I get home off this trip, I'm excited to get back in my lab because I got some really cool ingredients that we're going to be working with that have a lot of different benefits to them and a lot of different ways you can use it. So it's just going to further expand what our company's about.
And you also said, you mentioned that honey, you might be releasing honey.
We're going to do some special releases of the honey where we maybe sell just like 100 jars at a time.
I got to get first dibs on that. I
love honey. Actually, this Saturday I'm going to our honey plant on Saturday on my way to Wisconsin to again do some quality checks.
You know what, man? I know you have your honey farm that you use, the people you use, but if you ever decide to expand on that, the honey, we actually have a good friend of ours for the show that's a gamer, that is a cannabis user, but he has a honey farm, a bee farm. And so he would be somebody good to, I always want him to make hemp honey. I always want him to send me some. So that's the only time I've ever had it was him. So I'd love to try some of the other, especially the stuff that goes into these drinks. I mean, the drinks are good. So
I will get you some because I'm going to be picking up some more. I'll have some more just straight jars of the honey because everything else is buckets. I mean, we just did. Oh man, bucket. it's a 5-gallon bucket and honey.
Oh, you want a 5-gallon bucket of honey? You want to pour it over your wife one night? Like, come here, baby.
Hey, let's do it, man.
I didn't know this was going on OnlyFans. So that was Big A. Big A the other day was on Bongmaster Rob and Lloyd. They had Big Al after. I had to go to bed already, but he was getting wicked with the honey. So it's we're getting a great response. I mean, the honey is it's phenomenal. I'll make sure you get some because tasting like our drink, awesome. Tasting the honey is believing. So yeah, we're going to do some limited runs. It'll be like 100 jars at a time. That's it. We're trying to keep it affordable. It'll be like an 8-ounce jar. I think an 8-ounce jar is like 720 milligrams of Delta-9 THC. Obviously has some of the other CBDs and stuff in it as well because you just, you can't really purify all of it out.
Right.
We wouldn't want to anyway because all the cannabinoids work together as a spectrum.
Yeah, especially at CBD and some of the pain relief and this natural stuff.
CBG, CBA. There's
go on.
But see, that's the thing is they're all the cannabinoids. They all hit different receptors and work different ways. That's what
they all play their own role.
That's what's just so amazing about this plant. I mean,
when you break down into the science of it, it's wild how these things do this stuff.
I mean, Paul
looked like he falling asleep.
No, man.
I'm just playing, man.
Hey, look, I do these long drives. I mean, from San Antonio to Kansas City is 12 and a half hours. Normally, if you're sitting that long, you're going to start having inflammation. I mean, I try not to eat I stopped and had some sushi on the way instead of stopping for like a hamburger or something. Try to be healthy. You can't always do it. You try. But normally I would feel like really inflamed from a trip like that and just sitting for so many hours. Nope. I get to the hotel last night. Here, chug one of these. Get to the hotel now. Have 2 of these. So
that road sushi, though, it can be.
It was
you could definitely be. You might be feeling that tomorrow.
Yeah, no. I don't. No. Not gas station sushi. No. I was in Bentonville near the Walmart headquarters doing some stuff there, and they had actually it was a phenomenal sushi place. I have to admit, for being in Arkansas, and you know what? I want to shout out to America. I know this is going to sound crazy. I drive everywhere. I don't like flying for so many different reasons. I love the drive. And my son, by the way, he's 5.5 and he went to kindergarten he just started kindergarten. They had to do some like storyboard about himself. And we added it up and he's only 5.5. He's already been to 21 states. He's seen America because he drives with me. Yeah. And nice. So I love this country. I know there's so much hate and so much controversy right now, and of course we're in a political season. And if you like this
election
person,
year.
if you're voting for this person, you're an asshole.
Worst year ever.
Why?
Worst years ever.
But we have so much division. And when you drive across this country, and especially the farmers, teachers, nurses, emergency responders, all underappreciated professions and lives. It's not just a job. For many people, especially for farmers, it's generational. And you look at our food, these are the people that get up at 4 a.m. and until they don't go to bed till the job gets done. They work their ass off. They got to deal with Mother Nature fighting them, bugs fight, whatever. They're out there working their butts off. And, you see these people's hands. I mean, they got the calluses, they got the dirt, but you drive across this country and you actually stop and talk to people, say hello, look them in the eye. How are you today? I've even noticed when I take my son to school and I say good morning to the other parents, like so many of them are like, why are you talking to me? Like, send me a text. No, you're in front of me. I'm going to say good morning. And I love every part about this country. I've met so many great people. I've seen so many things. I've shared it with my son. And if you get a chance, just get out on the road, even if it's for a day, just drive 3 hours in a direction and go see something different. Go drive through Amish country, go drive through an industrial area. We live in such an amazing place, and it's just so bad that we want to fuck it up every day by hating on each other and chasing a dollar. And it's just, life's too damn short. I mean, I said this, I think, on your show the last time. If I live to 100, I've already expended 51% of my life. And that last 10 or 15%, who knows what health and how much I'm going to get to enjoy it. So I'll tell you right now, I'm going to live the shit out of what I got. And everyone else, please just get out and just see the world. And by the way, if you're walking and you see trash on the ground, pick it up and throw it away. Even if it's not yours, let's respect our homes, our world. It's maybe I have too much high nine in me, but because I just got off the road and I'm looking at a great river out here in Kansas City. I don't even know which one it is, but it's awesome. I love it.
You gotta get some barbecue while you're out there.
Oh,
so
great
they
barbecue
say.
city. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a Carolina boy by birth, so
I've driven across country though, so I got to experience quite a few different states just driving, but I've traveled all over from my last job with the government, so
it's awesome. It's just purely awesome.
There's a lot to see.
Respect.
Yep, I got to set up trade shows all over the country, from West Coast, East Coast, Midwest, South, and that was one of my favorite jobs, is just getting to see the country and different people, different walks of life, swapping stories, things like that. It's a beautiful thing.
And by the way, shout out to long haul truck drivers, because that is a tough life as well. And they get your shit to, you see the end result with Amazon dropping a box off of your doorstep. It's easy for you, but to understand or appreciate what went into actually getting that box to your doorstep, shout out to those guys as well, because they sacrificed their health. I
think the world realized them during COVID when they weren't working and the grocery stores were empty and there was nothing. You couldn't, because they don't realize how much we all depend on.
But you know what? You look at today and it's kind of like, how quickly we forget. And that was not too long ago. That's what's crazy. And I'm also a little bit like this because we just had 9/11 and I was in New York City during 9/11, have a lot of different attachments to that, lost some friends and all. So, it just reminds you about what life is all about and how we should be living and how we should be enjoying it. And that's also one of the reasons why weed in all forms, hemp, whatever, it should all be legal across the country and let people figure it out for themselves.
I think anything you could grow naturally should be legal. There's no reason.
Preaching to the choir here.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, any last words for Franz or the levelers out there?
Well, I know this is our first time meeting, and so I really liked a lot of what you had to say. I love the product. I really enjoyed the part about just kind of doing a whole test market with social media and having probably the biggest focus group ever, and just having a lot of passion for what you do. So I respect the hell out of that. I enjoy the product, and I'll certainly talk about it probably more on the podcast and word of mouth and things like that. So thanks for supporting us, and we'll support you right back.
We appreciate it. Teamwork makes the dream works.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And it's a pleasure meeting you and drinking and sharing a high nine with you for the first time.
Absolutely.
And as soon as I get through y'all neck of the woods, because that's probably coming, we'll be there in person. By the way, so what are our football team? Who are you guys going for? You started out talking about sports. Come on.
Let's go, Ravens.
Ooh, yeah, before we close out, let's talk. Oh, God, no. Oh, man. I'm not. It's Steelers, baby. All Steelers.
Well, I'm a college football guy, so I'm going to throw up the U because this is finally our year.
Oh, yeah, college football, too.
We went down to the swamp and beat up the lizard people, so that made me happy.
Yeah, he was going to have a good season. Yeah, I've
VU is my college team. So we didn't do too good. First Penn State, but we haven't been doing. We're slowly building up. Well, Franz, thanks so much for coming on the pod again, man. It's been incredible talking with you. And everything you're doing with High Nine. We're definitely stoked to have you as a show sponsor. And levelers, don't forget, if you want to stay up to date on Franz and High Nine, follow them on your socials at Drink High Nine, and that's it's actually the number 9 INE. So Drink High 9. Check them out. Also, let us know what you've been leveling up on this week so we can get it on the show next week, whether it's your favorite strain, favorite game, whatever it may be, at HLC Podcast 420 or highlevelchronicles.com. As always, stay leveled up. We are out.
Thanks for listening to High Level Chronicles. See you next time.